looks like you can. I checked that now. Hello, Paul Bennett. Hello, Sons of Wayne. Hello, Tom Everard. Hello, Stanley S. John C. Realms, what will be your nightmare? John Sheffield. Ken Leshies Arish. Jennifer Pew Pew Pew. Scuba Steve. Ron Sheps. Josh Newman. Mimi. Linda Forbes. Mrs. CB, Rob O'Brien, Greenhammer, you are back with us. It's good to see you on. I See Monster, Stephen Haynes, it's been forever. It's been forever, so you get a Beastman fist bump. Haven't seen you on in a while, so it's good to have you on with us. Jeff Bull, John C. Okay, you are back for more painting fun. So, I have that over there. This is set up. I'm a one-man show tonight. So, Unknown Origin, that is awesome. I'm glad that you got a big story. Big order, I mean. That is great. Hi, everybody. I am on a little bit early tonight. We had a big freeze and Texas isn't used to that. We have like a 1/4 inch of ice all over the ground. So Texas is kind of shut down. And my power has been intermittent. And right now I've got a good window. And I'm going to jump on that window. And I'm going to paint 2 zombies tonight. We're going to be fast and furious. It might only be like an hour and a half tonight. But I'm going to get these 2 masks done. Because I can't have commitment. And I have to move my little buttonator over here towards me. And let's go to Pip. All right. That wasn't really set up yet. But there. Okay. Make sure this guy is ready to go. A little low. There's 10 inches of ice on my lake. Well, we're not used to that in Texas. We're not good at this. We shouldn't this shouldn't happen to us. Because we don't know what to do. So I'm also going to have to trim and strap this mask before I can paint this one. But let's get on a little early. Get it done. 20 degrees. Alexa, what's the temperature outside?
Right now, it's 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, expect a low of 27 degrees.
27 degrees. That's ridiculous for us. I think the longest it's ever been below freezing here was 10 days. So we're having some trouble with, freezing pipes, all that kind of stuff. Hello, Angie Rogers, the future mama of a wolfman. And I'm telling you guys, I'm going to miss some comments tonight. That's just how it is because Mr. Hops is doing his thing alone. If it's a question and you need it answered, just repeat it a couple times and I'll see it. Oh, outside of Philly. I was raised in Maryland. I was raised in Harford County, Maryland. So I'm used to some cold weather, but dang. I don't have peach buds. Well, and also there was this like weird spring right before where some trees were budding. See, ice fishing almost makes ice sound fun. I have no doubt that Texas orchards are in danger. We had a 70-car pileup on the highway today. 70 cars. If that doesn't tell you that we shouldn't drive in this, then nothing will. Hello, Chad Smith. Good to see you on. Rodney Pope. Dutch Scully. Yes, I'm on a little bit early because I am worried that my power is going to go out. So I had a window and I took it. Was a crazy pile up indeed. We're such bad drivers, I bet it made national news. Blotty, my wife told me that I got a message, but I haven't been on it yet. Like I mentioned, our power has been on and off. So I have not been amazing today on catching up. It no likey the icy. Now let's switch to Ozbot. This is dangerous, but I'm going to put my little buttons up here, up on this with me. We're going to go to Ozbot while I go get my strapping kit. Yeah, I'm not surprised. We are pretty terrible at driving in this kind of weather. Rue mentioned that we were low on rivets. He was not lying. By low, he means out of rivets. Yeah, well, I'm fine over here in the shop pretty much. I should be okay for that. Everything is up off the floor with empty buckets underneath of it to keep it off the cold floor, raised up a little bit higher. Six. This is my Rent Fair leather kit. Everything to repair and make armor and whatnot is in here. Stealing from it for my mask straps. You may not have lost audio. It may be just that I was kind of quiet. Sorry. Witch masks? Yes, I do witch masks quite a bit. Tell you what, I'll try to do negative 13 Celsius. Woo. Alexa, what is negative 13 Celsius in Fahrenheit?
Minus 13 degrees Celsius is 8.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, that's not that bad. That's not that different from us. Well, you just have to assemble some pieces, Anthony. Go back to Pip. Just have to assemble some things to get yourself a leather kit. I'm doing zombies tonight, Chad. I'm doing zombies. Because I might not be on that long. It's just a good time for me to knock out something a little fast. I want to go in. I want to go in on the mask about 3/4 of an inch. And also where the corner of the eye is. Corner of the eye straight back, an inch above and about an inch below. And I'll fiddle with that a little bit if I need to, based on where ears are and things. That's an original mask that I sculpted, and then Heptaron, he's asking about, I believe, and then that is the. I've done a lot of different paints on that mask, and that's the first time I've done that paint on that mask. These masks will be simple zombie masks. They should be $75 each. You know, Heptaron is one of my favorites too. And then I use pliers to set. Now I have a really well set strap on there. Well, looks like I have to cut a few straps. That's fun, Angie. It's good that you got your shopping done. I feel like in Texas, if we didn't get our shopping done early, it might not get done. Normally I use small rivets. These happen to be mediums, unknown. Big Ink, they're exactly the same. They're double cap rivets. Thanks, Greenhammer. I appreciate that. Yeah, ordinarily, Sunday is a day that I go out and I look at, you know, like at those industrial parks. I look in their dumpsters and whatnot. Am I on this? Picture in picture is up here, right? But I'm not. Okay, I see more of it than you guys see. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Okay. 10 inches. Big ink. 10 inches. If it's a lady's mask, I'll do 9 inches. Here I am, Edson. Here I am. Despite how well and how often I hide from people. Here I am. And let's do this a little bit, because I think I'll be over there more. How's that? Perfect. Mo better. Hobby Lobby has some leather stuff. Not an amazing array, but a little bit. You know what? I am on top chat, guys. Give me a second. I need to go change it to live chat. I don't know if I'm missing messages or not. Tom, I get my strapping supplies from all over the place. I normally buy my rivets from Tandy Leather or Tandy Leather Factory, and then I buy my elastic. Normally I buy it from Amazon. Boy, a 50 pack of rivets, that seems expensive. I spend about $7 or $8 for a 100 pack. So the strapping material is 3/4 inch black elastic. I get it from Amazon. I need to go to top chat, to live chat. Okay. All right. I got started early so I would get more done. And I haven't even started painting anything yet. I don't know how this is going to work out, kids. Again, oh, we're on pip. So here's the corner of the eye, comes straight back, an inch above and about 3/4 of an inch in. Where do I get which eyes? There's a bunch of different eyes that I use, so exactly which ones would make a difference. You can use old underwear. And I used to do that. I used to use new underwear because that was the cheapest way to get elastic at that time. Alexa, add 3/4 inch elastic to my shopping list.
3/4 inch elastic added.
There you go, Jennifer. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, maybe new underwear elastic is better than old underwear elastic. I miss love for Tink's post. Let me go over there and see if I can find love for Tink's comment. In case I needs it. I'm using medium rivets, Larry Hughes, medium. Chad Smith, yes, I'm doing, a friend of mine on the internet said that they were playing around with, boy, I need to fix that. A friend of mine said that they were working on more realistic paint jobs. So I'm going to do a more realistic, like Walking Dead style paint job on this. Hello, Baba Daza. I am doing very well, actually. Thank you very much for asking. Yes, I will be doing some witch masks soon, Jeff. I will try to fit them in the next couple nights. Remember, this is a big if I end up getting my 1,000 subscribers that I want by night number 10 of this 10 Nights of Color, then the last night I'm going to do 2 clowns. But let's say on night number 9, I'll do a witch, okay? I'll do a witch on night number 9. I mean, it's possible. I have like 150 to do. 150 people left. I'm at like 830 maybe, 835, something like that. So not that many. Only if I get 1,000 subscribers there, Edson. Only if I get 1,000. So this mask is now strapped. I got 2 elastic straps on it, and that's going to hold to the head really well with no slipping. Let's check the other mask, which fell on the floor. Okay. Let's see how that does. Hello? I'm live. That's my wife. Okay. I love you. Alexa, hang up. Intercom feature. That's why we got those. Where am I? Boy, it's weird when it does stuff like this. Okay. That's probably good. That was the wife calling through the intercom. What's the big deal with clowns? So, by what is the big deal, what question are you asking? Are you asking why I'm not a huge clown fan? Is that what you're asking? Because I don't think that they're a big deal. I think they're overhyped. I think there's too many of them. But if you're asking what is my big deal with clowns, I will tell you. Remember that time I had a mask and I picked it up? Where did I put it? It's not really clown hatred. It's actually super clown apathy. Clowns are the lowest hanging fruit as far as haunted house characters go. They are the absolute lowest hanging fruit. And I know why they're popular, because they require very little skill to do, and it's very hard for someone to tell you that you're playing a clown wrong. But someone can easily say you're doing a bad job of being a werewolf. But no one can really say that about a clown, which is kind of weird. So they're low hanging fruit. They're not good haunt characters. They are, when someone puts on a clown costume, it kind of whispers to them what to do. And other characters don't do that. Other costumes don't do that. So a haunt clown, when you put on the suit, it says, have a funny laugh and act like a butthole. That's what the suit says to people. And that's what they do. And then however many clowns there are, that's how many people have an annoying laugh and act like a butthole. And I don't think that's the best for our industry. Also, I could probably name 30 haunt clown characters. 30. And I couldn't do that for any. I can't name 30 haunt vampires. I can't name 30 haunt zombies. I can't name 30 haunted house witches. I can't name 30 haunted house scarecrows. So, they're oversaturated. And the way that you know that they are oversaturated is that haunted house clowns now say, let me tell you about my clown. My clown is different. Because they know that there's so many clowns, they have to make it different in order to be effective or even acknowledged in this sea of other clowns. There's just too many. And anytime someone chooses to be a haunted house clown, what did they not choose? What creative idea did they steer away from? What creature could they have given a unique performance that they decided to waste on yet another clown who is going to be lumped in with other clowns, no matter how different they think that their clown is? So, and the whole clowns scare people? Well, of course they scare people. In a haunted house, if a poodle wearing a pink tutu ran in front of them in a hallway, they would scare some people. So, of course, clowns scare people. People tend to remember bright colors. So clowns are a little bit more, they're a little bit more memorable because they're bright colors. So that means most clown performers don't perform up to the level that they should because they have all of these crutches holding them up. You know, a haunted house clown, if they're not at least a 4 out of 10, they really suck. Like, put a mirror under their nose and see if they're alive or not. Because they should at least be able to get a 7 or an 8 out of 10 as far as haunt character work goes. So, you're probably at this point sorry you asked. but I have more. In our insect brains, in our little insect animal brains, we associate bright colors with animals that are poisonous to us or venomous, both. They're both poisonous and venomous animals that use bright color to advertise that fact. So our animal brains associate bright colors with things that are dangerous to us, which is why some people have a fear of clowns. That person is brightly colored, he's dangerous. So there you go. And I don't think that haunt clowns are where it's at. There's so many other things that haunt actors could be, and in my opinion, should be steered towards over clowns. And that just doesn't happen, which is, in my opinion, unfortunate. It's not that clowns are bad, but man, you can do better. You can do better. That's what it is. Masato, I'm not going to say that it actually takes talent to creatively scare someone. Yes, to creatively scare someone. People get scared. People are going to get scared, no matter what character it is. But you have to... I do a out of 10. Let's pretend that there's a group of 10 people. Then I personally, if I'm working in the room, I want to scare 7 to 8 of them. I think that is a nice high ratio, and that's an effective way to be. Haunt actors who aren't trying will scare 2 or 3 of them, who aren't even very good. They'll scare 2 or 3 of them out of a group of 10 because the setting, the situation, the lights, the sound, they do it. So anyway, y'all kind of know what I'm saying. You've heard it before. And right now, we're in this terrible cycle. I thought I was going to stop, but I'm not. We're in this terrible cycle of haunted house goers are determining what new haunted houses are doing. And that is absolutely the wrong way to be. The only worst thing that's also happening right now is haunted house owners are determining what haunted house vendors are going to make. Because I see it all the time now. I see haunt vendors go on social media and say, hey, I'm going to make stuff for haunted houses. What should I make? And I love the haunted house community, but haunted house owners are not creative. In general, they are not creative people. Where am I? It's my picture. Oh, okay. I'm seeing myself on 2 cameras. That's a little weird. So, in general, they're not creative. They can see something and recreate it or regurgitate it, maybe put a new skin on it, but straight creativity is not their forte. So, they go through a haunted house and they see rusty pipes and distressed nurse costumes. They might want to do rusty pipes and distressed nurse costumes. The problem that we're having right now is that haunt vendors are saying, well, that guy is selling clown mask and nurse costumes and asylum costumes. I had better make and sell clown masks and nurse costumes. That's not our job. Our job as a haunted house vendor is not to give you what you want. That's not it. Our job as a haunted house vendor is to tell you what's next. And it's to show you things that you have never seen before. That is our job. And if we're not doing that, then we're failing you. And you end up with, you walk a trade show floor and everybody is selling the same thing. And sadly, it's happening right now. I'm trying to just kick the cycle out of it. But I'm only one guy, you know. So, but anyway. Hello, Glenn McCain. I'm sorry you walked in on that terrible rant of mine. Big Ink, when I was there in 2000, I was a big bat monster. I looked like a giant bat or gargoyle type creature. And I was on stilts, and it was a quadruped costume. Yeah, you're right. You're not going to see a mask get painted because you had me throwing the law down about clowns. I might be passionate about what I'm doing. All right, I'm going to grab these heads. The world needs now. Okay. Hello, buddy. I'm going to go to Ozbot for a bit because I'm going to feel free to move about the cabin. We're painting zombies tonight. Zombie, zombie, zombie. Dirty Santa. It is easier and cheaper to add something that goes with what you already have as opposed to revamp. I'm not talking about revamping because there are imaginative new skins that you can put on existing things that you already have. But just because it's easier, does that make it the best choice? I don't know that it does. And I would say I would do things that are not easy. I did not say King of Clown Masks and Nurse Costumes. No, I'm just saying that's what's popular, and everybody has it. Everybody has that kind of stuff. They have asylum stuff, they have clown stuff, and they have nurses, and all their sets are rusty. And there's others, there's other ways to do it. There are other genres to reach out and grab by their short and curlies until someone screams. All right. I need to just paint stuff. I am going to base this girl out here, and I'm going to base her out. I'm putting on a skin tone. I'm doing a fairly realistic paint job. I'm putting on a skin tone. Now, it's a realistic paint job for a zombie. I'm adding white to my flesh tone because this person's dead, and my flesh tone is pretty dark. Because I use a dark flesh tone normally, and I dry brush on top of it, on top of it, on top of it, in order to lighten it. And I add white to my dry brush layers on top. So now I'm doing it a little bit different. I'm not going to do a lot of dry brushing. I'm going to do some washes. And I think the other one that I do, I won't even base. The other one that I do, I will leave latex color. But that is going to tan, and that is going to change the color of it. Greenhammer, I have a job to do. The profession that I do is, for me, and it's not for everybody who does it, it's a calling. This is what I am meant to be doing. I have no doubt about that. Haunted house work is what I am meant to be doing. I can say that without doubt. I don't know what gagging an age down a hallway means, but it may mean different things to you and I. Ike, a lot of people tend to cheap out on stilts, and I think that's a terrible thing to do. I use a double pole Durastilt. It's a drywall stilt, but there's a pole on each side of the leg, and that really helps with stability. So that is what I normally use for people. All right, so the color spectrum isn't going to be as crazy on this as it would be on a mask that I'm doing high contrast. So even on the red that I'm putting in here, I'm actually going to mix in some of my flesh with it in order to make it calmer. But it's also going to put it in the same family as this paint on this mask. And I want to get that white cartilage look on the nose, so I'm just going to rub off that red paint. Once again, in my sculpture, I've got this tendon that runs down here. I want that white, so I'm going to drag that off and get that latex color back onto it. Green Hammer, this is paint that I mix up and I'll be selling very soon after this freeze snap is over for us. This is a latex house paint mixed with casting latex, mixed with distilled water. That is what this paint is made of. I mix it up myself. Chonkos, I normally have an idea before I paint. It's good to see you on again. Yeah, see how that's very pink and very mauve? I'm not going to go bright red. I want to have control over that. If I go super deep dark red right away, I'm not going to be able to push in deep areas unless I go black. If you go black, that's way too drastic for a realistic paint job. David Carter, yes, normally a mistake can be fixed. Almost every time. Let's grab the other boy here. Baba Daza, I'm so glad you love your Krampus. Normally I have a battle plan. If you have a battle plan, it's a lot easier. And painting is something you want to build it up, like over with layers. So if you don't know what you're doing for each layer, you can get in trouble. Yes, I've tried the spring shoe stilts. Hey, wife. How are you? A little better?
I was finishing dinner.
Okay.
Would you like me?
Well, I want them to be able to hear you, so let's go put you here. There you go. You'll be a little bit walled in by paint. My wife is here, everybody.
Hello.
She's my favorite.
Are you up on the...
I believe so. Yeah, if you shoot for a medium, you can go up and down. But if you're going to build with washes, and you know that all you're going to do is build with washes, then you want to start light because you're going to make that darker over time. If you are going to build with dry brushing, you want to start dark, and then you pull it up. The wife did not bring me a pocket cheeseburger.
No, but I was finishing dinner.
Yes, I can sculpt human faces. I don't enjoy sculpting likenesses. Chonkos, you just saw me paint a mask without an airbrush. Like, I just did that. I just used a brush. Same way, man. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. You just paint it. Ezekiel says hello. Aqua Cave is sad for me that I didn't get a cheeseburger. Thank you for your compassion.
Well, I just made him a pizza.
What's weird is that this camera, my phone camera, is frozen. Like, I see it frozen up here.
Me too.
But on screen, it's moving.
I'm gonna
So,
refresh my page.
I don't know. Guys, I just want to make sure with you, is everything moving and not frozen?
I just refreshed. It's moving.
Okay, it's frozen on the screen, so I can't see what I'm shooting.
Dirty Santa is the boss. Aqua Cave, he's got a homemade pizza waiting for him when he comes back.
I love homemade pizza. So I'm going to paint these zombies fast.
Ooh, looking rough. Okay.
And wipe, give me 1 second because I'm going to...
Chad says, when I get back to my alien, I'm going to base it in a gray. And I'm going to do spatter skin tones on that.
Yeah, if you want that, you need to get a base down. Having a base will very much help you.
It is remarkably comfortable in here.
Well, I have the big heater on.
You did have the big heater. I didn't think it was going to be that.
Okay, so now I can see what you guys are seeing, and that'll do a little better. And Ozbot seems to be working like a champ today.
Maybe because you were the only person here. And
Oh, never mind. Ozbot stopped. He's staring into space. He was working before you got here.
Good.
That's who I blame.
Happy to come.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little mix up on this guy in order to make him a wash. I'm just gonna bring my whole stack of cups over here.
83 people are watching.
Hi, 83 people. Luckily, White, you missed it because earlier I went on a rant about clowns. Because...
No, I didn't miss it.
Oh, you didn't miss it?
No.
Lottie Effect asked me. That made me start 20 minutes later than I meant to.
Why do you guys do this? You know what he's gonna say. Yeah, I heard your rant.
Let's call it an impassioned debate. Let's
Dude,
call
I
it
don't
that.
call it a debate. There's no one you're debating with. You
That's
have
true. I don't let them get a word in.
second person to make a debate.
Hashtag clowns are dumb.
I'll say you were waxing poetic.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Realm says, I found out that EVA foam clay works on weedheads.
Yeah, of course. Yes, it does.
Hello, Dutch Scully says, have you ever been to Evermore Park? Sadly, it's a bit too far for me personally, from the Netherlands, that is.
Well, I live in Texas, so it's pretty far for me, too. I have not been there yet. I would love to go. I think I really would enjoy what they're doing.
Rob O'Brien says, the O in Ozbot must stand for obstinate.
Maybe. Okay, so what I've got here, guys, is I have a little bit of my brown paint in with some water. And now I'm running it up the side. I'm checking its legs. I want to see how thick is this. How much will I get on that mask when I do the wash?
Ron Shuck says it wasn't a debate, it was a soliloquy.
It was a bit of a soliloquy. Fully get that.
Right, I did hear it. I did hear it. Bloody Effects Makeup, hello. Alan says, Alan, I don't mean to offend. Would it be more cost effective to commission you for a custom full mask look like sculpt, run, or do it myself? I am super low budget.
Have you ever made a mask before? If you have never made a mask before, then it's probably going to be cheaper for you to get me to do it. But if you already have everything, and you already make masks, then it might be cheaper for you to do it. If you think you're going to make mistakes, then it's probably going to be cheaper for me to do it. It all depends. There are hidden costs in mask making. Okay, so I have this brown. I used straight brown. I didn't use flesh. I used brown. And I'm painting brown with a lot of water in it. It is super thinned down on this mask. Now, I am painting a zombie, so I'm not going for like a human skin tone. Because I'm painting a zombie. I'm going for close to human skin tone. This used to be a human.
Tank says, guess I'm going to have to go back to watch the first 20 minutes. I'm lost. Bloody Effect says, oh, okay, so no, it would be cheaper for you to do it.
I mean, probably, yes. If I need a, let's say that I need a jester mask for my haunted house, the first thing I do is I go look for someone who has a jester mask, and then I would rather buy it first. If I need 5, then I should make it. If I need 5 jester masks, 5 is my number where I know it makes sense. Now, if no one makes it and I need 3, then I'll probably end up sculpting and molding one. If nobody makes it and I need 1, I'll probably buy a mask that's similar and modify it, like I did for the Valentine's Day mask, and like I did for, well, you guys see me modify a lot of stuff. And there's just a little bit of that brown color left on there in all the texture of this. And we'll probably hit that again with that same thing later. I was not expecting you over here tonight, wife. It's a pleasant surprise. I did start a little early.
I did not realize you were on. That's why
I wanna get in the window before our power goes out again.
I linked in. So that okay. That's why when I looked at it, I thought, I wonder if he's live yet. So Tank says it already looks nasty. Jeff Bull, with all the racial tensions that have been going on the last year or so, do you or your zombie masks do you do your zombie masks in other ethnicities?
Normally no. Simply because there are not enough people of color who work haunted houses for it to make a statistically different change in the masks and things that you do. Now, if I were making 100, I'd probably make 5 with a darker skin tone, because that's about the ratio of people of color who work in haunts. I wish that the industry was more accepted, but it doesn't seem like it's something that, as a race, they enjoy as much. Are there individuals? Yes. That's a huge generality, but and please understand that I hate speaking in absolutes. So I say things like in general or I see, in order to not say black people don't work in haunted houses. I didn't say that because that's not true. There are some. Percentage, I think it's like 2%. Maybe it's 2%, 3%. I wish it were more. And I don't necessarily think that our industry is not that inclusive. I feel like our industry is inclusive. Maybe some haunted houses are not, but I think the industry itself is inclusive. So
Go see. Go get it.
I think the industry is inclusive because it treats the LGBTQ. Hope I said all that right. It treats that group fairly well. The haunts that I'm at do, because that comes from leadership. If your leadership is a little bit racist or a little bit homophobic, then the haunt is going to be that way too, unfortunately. Honey, if you could, you on comments?
Yes. Okay. John Steve says the skull mask into a mummy was great. Chad says the biggest modification I remember you doing was a predator mask.
Oh, I did do that. That's right. I turned my clown sculpt into a predator.
Let's see. Barbara Saletti said, I love the Valentine's mask. Gregory Haynes says the zombie looks like he face planted into a wall full speed.
Yes, they do that.
Tank said they don't like to be scared. Big Ink says we lost power for 2 days with getting hit with all these snowstorms, and Lisa says good.
Don't read it. Please don't read any racial comments. Like saying they don't like to get scared. I think he is referring to black people. So we have to be careful about that. So you have to be on your A game monitoring comments because we're talking about race, and that could be a very testy subject.
Ooh, Mimi says I just took a look at Evermore Park on Google, and that looks
Yeah, it does look cool. It's like they're doing it right. I see. You can tell a quality heat gun from the way it rattles. By the way, your heat gun shouldn't rattle.
Do you guys have a generator?
Technically, no. We don't have a generator. I have a van that is a generator.
Harry Hughes says the Predator mask is awesome.
Thank you. I am just heat gunning, of course, the sculpture, the mask, so that I can do more painting to it.
So if the power goes out, you can hook up to the van.
No, I will go inside. I will be done with this. Yeah, so if we drop off tonight, we're just going to have to drop off. And you can look for pictures on the Creepers page of these finished masks. Because I can't finish them in the dark. If I have to rely on the van for power, then that's going to go to life support systems.
Alan, in Haunting, do you have the no blue necklace?
We have done versions of that. Dark Hour does not have that itself.
I thought all of Harbor Freight guns rattle. No, just yours?
Not until they get seasoned. Once they're good and seasoned, they develop a lovely rattle.
I have Rome says I have to prepare our kitchen to work on carpets with EVA foam, clay, latex, and paper towels. The heads are filled off with a 2 meters wide.
Cool. Okay, so this guy is now dry. And I'm wondering if I want to do this brown wash on this, or will that make it too dark? I think that's going to make it too dark. So what can I do? I could add more water to this and thin that down, so it's getting even less paint, or I can add a little bit of white in here and lessen the shock of this color. And that's what I'll do. So I added white. I'll mix that up. And now I add a little more water too, because I increase the amount of paint in it. Is there a science? No. Now this is like a coffee with cream and sugar. That's what that looks like. Lots of cream.
Thinking Studio says it's crazy that you can't hear that heat gun.
It's magic. And now I wish I could find what I did to stop it, to reverse it, because I can't find a way to reverse it.
Hello, Adam Durbin and Lanny Williams.
Hello, Adam Durbin and Lanny Williams. You said it that way, so I would say hi to them, didn't you? You're a pro.
But bloody effects. So, Alan, I'll break it to you now so you have time to ponder. I want to commission you to do a Lady Gaga likeness, full head and sculpted hair original mask. Are you at all open to that? Ha ha.
No. No. I'm not your guy. I'm not your guy. I don't like doing likenesses. If I did a likeness, it probably would not be Lady Gaga. That's not who I'm going to bust out my first likeness on. It will, I don't know, maybe Lon Chaney Jr. That'd be good. But no, I'm not your guy.
I think that's the first.
Maybe I can point you in a direction if you want me to ask around for you.
you ever been asked to do a Lady Gaga mask before?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I did not know that. Where's my deck?
It's right behind your computer.
Oh, here.
There you go. Now that what I put on there, that is so super subtle. But that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're not doing anything that's crazy. We're not doing anything that's massive. It is going to be subtle layering.
And that person says, I can see you doing a large art. What do you have? When mixing washes for miniatures, I add a few drops of dish soap, or even a bit of window cleaner to improve the flow of the paint.
Yeah, sometimes I will actually use future floor wax to do the same thing. But I have to make sure everything I add is flexible to some degree. I can't add anything that'll hurt the stretch. And if I were doing something that were alive, I would want a little bit more red in this skin tone, and I might even mist it with red from the airbrush. But this guy is obviously not going to be alive, so.
Chad Smith says on camera that wash will really deaden the skin tone.
It does, because it's brown and white. Anytime you add black or white to a flesh tone, it deadens it, because black and white make up gray, and there's already some dark and some light in flesh tone, so it's going to. Sorry, that's in your face. So it's going to deaden it by graying it out.
UK.
Hey, Grappy.
Hi guys, I put a few pictures of the Creepers page of the latex chainmail I made.
Awesome.
Adam Durbin says, I'm still waiting to see Don Knotts Michael Myers. Hello, Queer Path.
One day. One day we shall do Don Knotts Michael.
Good night, Edson. The Dutch Scully. I've read that shake hands are a bit frowned upon as a cheap scare. What's your take on it?
I think one in a haunted house is just fine. If there's 20 in your haunted house, you have a problem. But I think as far as all the cheap scares go, they're awesome. Go ahead. You should have one or two drop-down windows in your haunt. You should have one or two guys with shake hands in your haunt. You should have one or two guys with clacker gloves in your haunt. But you don't want 20 of them. And right now I've mixed up like a bluish purple color, and I'm just getting a lot of it off of this brush. And now that I only have a little bit, I'm going to kind of rub it in, because it's not going to come off like paint. I have to rub it in. And this is where I would normally do shading. And somebody asked about not having an airbrush, so I'm going to do this guy without an airbrush. Until I start applying blood, which obviously I could do with a brush, but I'm going to want. So one thing with the haunted house mask, I am looking at the transition from the mask to the eye socket. I actually want it darker right here than it normally would be, because I assume the actor is going to black out their eyes.
and I don't want there to be flesh tone, flesh tone, flesh tone, eye black. That looks a little weird. So you got to think about what's going to happen with the actor's eyes too.
101 people are watching.
101 people.
I think that's a.
That means people are snowed in. That's what that means. They're like, well, we can't go outside. Might as well watch that mask guy again.
Oh, that's the mask guy's on. And his dogs.
The mask guy and his dogs.
Anthony Pantano, hello. He says it might be a weird question, but has anyone ever had wild animals in their haunted house?
Like on purpose or by accident? Because yes.
Yes.
The answer
By
is yes.
accident, yes. For me.
We had a haunted house that a possum had to be ejected from the haunted house in the middle of the evening. So, you know, my wife is holding this lovely group, and there's a security lady around the corner with a metal garbage can, not the quietest instrument in the world, trying to corral this possum. Again, I don't want a lot on the brush. A lot on the brush, I would just be painting.
Mike Chisnowski says yesterday's masks were really nice.
Thanks.
I have spell check now. Hey, Andy Rogers.
We appreciate spell check.
Anthony Pantano said not by accident. He's having purposeful. Wow.
I've been at, I worked at Spooky World and Big Ink Studios, who was on tonight. He also worked at Spooky World, and they actually had what they called Rat Girl or Mouse Girl, who was in a tank with like 70 some mice. So it does happen. Haunts do it.
Snakes.
Snakes, yes. At Universal, they had a crew for a while that would walk around, and they have, see how subtle that shading is?
Hey, Steve.
And they would have a plexiglass box on their head. And in that plexiglass box, it would be filled with Madagascar hissing cockroaches or snakes or tarantulas, you know, something to get a reaction from folks. Most of that paint is off. So what I'm doing, I'm scrubbing in. And I didn't even sculpt this skull ridge right here, but I want that to be on there. So I'm going to have to scrub that in, and I'm just doing the shading as if it were there. And that looks much more harsh on camera than it does in real life.
Possum incident probably added to the effect. Well, the
It did.
patrons could not see the possum.
But they heard it.
I saw the possum because the possum was behind them and I was guiding them. So.
But they heard it try and get caught.
And then they heard the security guy, lady, and guy trying to catch the possum, but we were on the other side of the wall. Hey, Scott.
We named the possum Head.
Realm says Woods of Terror has a snake.
Yes, they do.
That's a pet.
But it's still an animal. It's not a wild animal.
Not a
Wild
wild
animal is a weird word to use.
That is a pet. That's
So-
Eddie's pet. Big Ink says Mouse Girl was awesome.
Yes, Ruth was her name.
I could have been a Mouse Girl Monday night.
You could have. And see how there's no shadow in here. I've taken a little bit of this paint. I'm just bringing it in, and where do I want that shading to be? That's where I'm putting it.
John Coleman says, I know Lance Pope had some exotic animals, but I'm not sure if he ever showed up at Verdun Manor. I doubt it.
He did not. No, they were his personal collection that he did privately. A lot of the guys who I work with a lot worked with Lance. I did not have the pleasure. I met him a few times.
Jennifer Pugh says the tarantulas or hissing cockroaches would definitely freak me out. Bloody Effects Makeup says this zombie sculpt reminds me of Phantom of the Opera Broadway prosthetic. Did you take inspiration from that?
I don't believe so.
Anthony says, what about real tigers and bears to scare people behind bars, or is that too risky?
It's a terrible idea. And it's also, how stressful is that going to be to the bear? Because think about an animal in the zoo where they're relaxed and comfortable. They're laying down, they're sleeping. You know, that's what they're doing. So if they're going to be roaring and smashing up against the bars, what is that going to do to their psyche for 5 hours? You don't want that. You have to think about how the animal is feeling. The same is true for actors. We don't think about how actors feel enough, too, doing that same kind of thing. We got to make sure that they have, other options. All right, so this is, we're getting there on this. Believe it or not, this is subtle, but it's coming along. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to move off of this and go to the other one for a bit.
Sean says, Lance was great. I only met him once, but such a great guy. Ken Zarish said, Zombie looks like all his blood has been drained with those colors.
Yes.
And Mimi says, I think at Statesville they had a phobia room with an actor who got.
I don't know if you're wrong. I didn't see it when I went through, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen sometimes.
Stephen Haynes says, any critter in my shirt when I don't know. This is never good. Anthony Van Thomas said, yes, I do feel bad for animals at the zoo, so that's very true. The Dutch Scully says, Sean Coleman, is that place still running? I know it from the werewolf pack. Ezekiel says, more flexible with a dude in a bear costume than a real bear. Bloody Effects, have you ever thought of making the ribbons part of a paint job like wounds or something rather than just painting over them?
Very few characters rivets would kind of work with. Like, you know, some asylum looks or some what I call band mask looks now, which are very popular. That would probably work, but no, I don't normally do that. I just ignore them.
Aqua Cave says, Carowinds had a snake once 2 years ago. Woman was carrying it around for Scarowinds to tease the new coaster Copperhead Strike. But it was very funny because she was using a albino python. Mike Denez says hello. Paul Bennett says cool mask.
Thanks, Paul. Once again, I'm just scrubbing in that color. I wouldn't even call it painting. It's not really even dry brushing. I'm having to work to get it off of the brush.
Known Origin says it's easy to hair over a ribbon. Heat gun is really messing with the sound and necessary evil ideas.
Yes.
Chad Smith, I'm sure you have, but have you ever made a straitjacket? How would you go about it?
I normally use painter's tarp, canvas, and that's how I normally do it. Like canvas tarping, that's what I use. I buy leather belts from the thrift store. You can get 3 or 4 that's that's best. And then I sew it together.
Sean Coleman, Thrillvania is still operating.
It is.
Paul Bennett says, I would love to have 5 of that mask.
Well, you would just have to order 5. These are very simple zombie masks, and you can, I can add to them. I can add hair and stuff so they blend in a little better with the actors. But normally what you do is just cut it at the hairline. If you cut this at the hairline, the actor's hair can just fall over it, and that actually looks pretty nice. This is a much smaller fit. This is a female fit mask. I don't know, you can probably tell next to my hand. It's a female fit mask. Yeah.
Hello, Alex Cashin.
Hey, Alex. Doing this on video, I'm looking at the video while I'm looking right at the video while I'm painting, and it's so much harsher on video than it is in person. Like, look at the camera, honey. Look at the video up there, and see how much you can see it, and then look at it in real life. It's way more subtle. We noticed the other night, I had on a purple shirt. It was blue on one camera and blue on the other.
Are these old because these are old cameras?
I don't know. If I knew what I was doing, I'd be dangerous. And see how I'm kind of working in pastels almost, and I'm just pushing that color in. I'm pushing that color on.
Do you use permablood and or an alternative?
Yes.
Both?
Oh,
Do you use permablood and or an alternative on your masks?
yes, I use permablood and or an alternative on my masks. I do.
No, Chad. The accident today was in Fort Worth, and that's a good
About 2 hours from us.
2 hours from us, but it's about an hour from Dallas. So
We're in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, which is about 3 hours across.
so it was not in our jurisdiction.
Yeah, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex is the size of some states.
Hey, Body Geeks. Ken's Reese says, will there be any green for that one?
Yes. But it won't be a green zombie. I'm going to use green and red and blue and fleck it in. Flecking zombies. This one has a bit of sculpted eyebrow that I never really know what to do with. I don't know why I sculpted it on because I feel like girls have eyebrows. And this was a female zombie. I don't think guys care if they have eyebrows or not. So, I'll show you guys real quick, side by side. See how much darker this guy is than this one? This is that brown wash. I used the straight brown. On this one, I thinned it way down with water and I added white.
Two stream decks?
What's that?
Do you have two stream decks?
No, just one. Why?
Oh. My scrubber bar
Yes.
just went back about almost an hour back. I'm not sure how that happened. And I saw this stream deck and it was up there and I was like, I'm looking at the picture and I'm looking at the stream deck. Why is it showing that? It's backed up. I'm like, wait a minute. You have two? How's that work?
All right, so now I'm going to mix up a color for teeth.
So you can tell how her eyebrows are waxed. Chad, yes, it was, I think, 7 fatalities from that wreck so far. So it's a big one. Danette Burton. This is an art form I've not considered, but I've been glued to your live streams and catching up on those I've missed. I am, however, working on a dozen of your posted haunt projects now.
Wow, awesome. I love that.
Hey, Finn.
Finn Godwolf?
Finn Godwolf.
Turtle man, turtle man. He's a turtle man with a turtle plan.
106 people are watching.
Turtle. And you may not associate yourself with turtles, but now I do. So there you go. So I'm going to paint these teeth. And these guys I kind of want to actually paint. Now, these teeth I'll wax. So I'm not too worried right off the bat about getting a stain on them. They're going to be fairly bright. I'm going to knock them down with wax.
How long ago did you sculpt these? Are you doing 2 zombies tonight?
Yeah.
The same mask?
No, they're different masks.
Okay.
About 9 years ago. No, I did this in 2009. How long ago was that?
12 years.
12 years ago. This is a 12-year-old sculpt.
Chris V, I'm new to this, but I really dig your stuff and appreciate your videos. He gets a fist bump.
Hooray.
Chris V,
That's very kind.
welcome. That fist bump is for you. Rat Demon says, good night, everyone.
Good night, Riot. It's a Riot Demon. Throw back a bottle of beer. It's a Riot Demon. Run a comb through your cold dark hair. Cold black hair, not dark hair. I'm not good at the words.
Doesn't stop.
Doesn't stop me in the least. And I'm just going to go ahead and knock out the other teeth while I have this color mixed up.
How's your footing over there?
Have to step over dogs. It's rough. And I don't want too much on my brush at a time, so I have a spot where I'm just getting it off of there. I'd like to have enough on my brush where it's not streaky, and I can really paint the whole tooth, but I also don't want any paint color to go in between the teeth. I want to leave that line of separation of color. Any issues in the sculpture, I can correct with paint mostly. Like if I painted a tooth wrong, if I sculpted a tooth wrong, the teeth are where the white paint goes. So, if I wanted to add a tooth over here where I didn't have one, I could just blob in some white, and that's going to read enough like a tooth where that's what the eye is going to do. Paint is a problem-solving process. In that, the problem with the mask is it's not the same color a monster would be, and the paint is solving that problem. The problem with the mask is it's not under haunt light conditions, but you can paint it like it is.
Good night, Dutch Scully.
Good night, Dutch Scully. And I would probably want another layer of paint on these teeth. A little too translucent right now. So let me see if I can find a certain brush. Would you put it on Ozbot? I don't know if Ozbot's following me right now or not. No, but Ozbot can see the whole room. So Ozbot can see when I go over to this. Trying to find a certain brush that is. I'm not good at keeping it because I don't use it as much as I should.
Kitchen, Janie.
That is a flecking brush.
Out of the kitchen.
My wife is yelling at my dog who's in the house
And I just
from
hit
over
him.
here because she's looking on the Nest Cam.
He's gone where he's not supposed to go, and so I just busted him. He's searching for cat food. Will you stain the teeth?
Yes, I will stain the teeth. And I will not resist them when I stain the teeth.
You're so busted. I saw you in the kitchen. Bad dog.
Yeah.
You're so busted. Oh, don't you start with me. I saw you out of the kitchen. Come on. Go on. Good night, Sean Coleman.
Good night, Sean Coleman.
Susan entices Aw, Cheney. Oh, Cheney, nothing. That dog.
I'm gonna look in here real quick. Wife, maybe tell them a story or something.
These dogs are. We have some cameras in the house, like most people do, and microphones on them, Nest cameras, and I can see him. Yeah, he does think I'm a magician because you should have seen his face on the camera when he heard me scolding him, and he comes in here with his tail down, like, how'd she know? Says you have to have a camera to watch the dogs in the house. You know what? We have a few cameras in the house, just for monitoring. Before we got the dogs, before Alan had brought them home, we had them, And they actually, I've got it on the pet door. So if something comes in the house that's not supposed to be in the house, I will know. Which happened one day because I was at work and my phone went off and I looked. The kitchen camera showed 3 cats came in. At the time, we had 3 cats. And a 4th cat came in that does not belong to us. It was a neighbor's cat who was chasing, playing, whatever. He promptly ran out. But this tells me, something's happening in the house. So I can tell when we were here, there's 2 dogs here and 1 left. And he went into the house and started going to the kitchen because he knows I'm in here. He's in the kitchen looking for cat food or something he can get. And he's so tall, they're all so big, they can counter serve. So when I got on the microphone, the look on his face was so guilty. So yeah. This is just a matter of giant dogs who know where the food is and counter serve to steal food. Not that anyone or anything ever goes hungry in this house, but they still do it.
No one goes hungry.
No one goes hungry. Jennifer says, I have Arlo cameras. I love them. It's peace of mind. And yeah, sometimes I like to see what the cats are doing out of work. Yeah, I want to know what you're doing.
Okay, so I don't have my good flecking brush. Let's go to Pip, honey.
Did you say the xylene is what you use to thin the contact cement?
Did you go to Pip yet?
Yes.
No, there it is. Okay. Yes, you use xylene to thin contact cement. Now, if you're in California, you might only have access to water-based contact cement. That is terrible garbage. And don't buy it. It's got a green label. That's how you know.
Oh, Mike Chesnowski says my wife is making the cookies that you posted. Great.
You're in for a treat.
Those are the chocolate cookies. Last night I made chai cookies.
Yeah, chai. All right, so I have a brush, and I put paint, and I put some water in there with it, and I'm getting most of it off, okay? And this is blue, like this is blue color. And I'm going to do what's called flecking. And this will not be sexy to you, because I don't know if you'll be able to see a lot of it.
Well, Adaza says they can get anything off of the counter and their giant paws can reach a lot. Yeah. Things that they have stolen off the counter right after I fed them. So they're not hungry. It's not like they're starving.
So this is little dots of color. I'm not putting a lot on. I'm using a chip brush that I've cut down halfway. I have a favorite brush for this, but I can't find it. So I'm just going to use this brush.
Tank asked, is this mask going to get a little Diet Coke as well?
Probably not. I had to thin something with Coke Zero the other day.
Why did you do that on purpose?
Water was far. Coke Zero was right there. All right, so I did blue. I'm going to go ahead and mix up a green for flecking. I don't have any green over here.
When you do the flecking, do you water down the paint?
Yes, I do. And I'll show that to you right now. So I'll show you guys right over here. So corner palette, put a little bit of green down. And now I'm going to take
Kalisha says water was fun.
just this cup is water. And I dip my brush in it. And that's enough water. That's about 50-50 now, water and paint. And I'm actually going to add a drop of red to that to deepen that green a little. Now, it won't matter if it's that bright. I mean, I didn't do it because it's too bright. That's one of the deeper green. And I always test like right here. And I need to see those little dots happen. And that gives me my technique. I don't really even want this to show up for you guys. What you'll notice if I do this over and over is I'm changing the temperature of it more than I'm actually changing the color. All these little dots, the water is going to evaporate out, and you'll be left with those little dots of paint. And I'll have blue on here, and I'll have green on here. The amount of the colors in human skin is remarkable.
Is that a tackle box?
Yes. Well, a toolbox. This is a toolbox. So now I'm going to go with just some nice magenta. I don't want to overdo the reds. If I do too much red on this, then it's going to bring it back to life. And I know I want this guy to stay a zombie.
Ken Zarish says, I really love this zombie. Male one, beautiful job. Close up. Looks real. Cat Swift, hello. Says, evening all. Did you
Hey,
ever
Cat.
have a day at work when it felt like they were bringing in busloads of stupid?
Yes, I have. I think no matter what your job is, I have a dream job. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I have the job I've always wanted. And I'm blessed. I still have crap days at work where I deal with too many stupid people. Some of which I love dearly.
Love has nothing to do with it.
No.
You still love them.
Right.
Nothing to do with it.
And sometimes they're stupid people I don't know. And I'm just, I don't know how much you guys can see. Can you see some of those little flecks of color? I don't want to overdo it because you'd see too much. Especially with this color, which is the magenta.
People are watching.
And now I'm going to do brown. This one is a lighter base. I'm going to do brown on this. 99. That's a lot.
Good night, Aquacave.
Good night, Aquacade Creations.
Dirty Santa said, stupid should hurt.
It should at least cost more.
Thanks, I know what you mean about the loved one. Chad says, the crappy thing is, stupidity is my job security. Good night, Crib Ass.
Yeah. Good night, Mario. So, Queer Pass has a screen name that I desperately want to ask about, and yet I don't want to ask about. Who knows? But I looked on his YouTube channel, and it's like it's all soccer.
You know,
So
I meant to ask once upon a time, but I'm so used to it now. I forget.
I just call him Mario, because his name is Mario.
See, you know he's Mario because YouTube has spoken off
No,
here. Well, how
Just
did you
on
know
here.
his name's Mario?
because he says, "Hey, it's me, Mario."
Larry Hughes says, you got 99 problems, but a viewer ain't one of them.
Oh, we have some problem viewers on occasion. Not too often, but on occasion. And I'm actually going to do some flecking with black now. I'm going to do it with straight black. How often have you looked at your own face and it was dirty and you saw these little black flecks? Why wouldn't zombies have that? Why wouldn't that happen to them in their life when they're running around? And I'm looking at where the spray pattern shows up, and that's, I don't want it too heavy. I'm just doing this flecking.
Realm says, your pool noodle bodies have changed my life. They are so easy to make and quick to make. There's going to be so many dead bodies on the trail this year.
Isn't that awesome? It's wonderful. And if you work on them, you can get them in super realistic poses. All right, so there we go. Now that same color that I mixed up for the teeth, I'm going to do up on this bone plate. I got a little bone up here.
Hello, Almatra Art.
Almatra art.
Dun, dun, dun.
Good times never felt so good.
So good, so good, so good. When did Al get a theme song?
It's just Almatra art.
I know, but that's just like been the last couple of months. I don't remember
Maybe
you
the
doing
last
this
couple
back in
months.
spring.
No. it depends on where my brain is
No,
when
but-
I hear
but
his name.
Now it's like Riot Demon. It's theme song.
Mm-hmm. And let's hit those teeth again. Remember I said I want to do a second coat? These teeth were a little translucent for my... Teeth are actually pretty vibrant. Even on like an unearthed skull, the teeth are actually... They can be pretty bright because they just don't decay the same way that bone does. They don't darken as much. You can have a real nasty skull with these real pearly whites. All right, so this is a properly flecked mask over top of a skin tone. Over top of a skin tone. I wanted to make sure that the microphone heard that and listened. And I could go in with more colors, but I'm pretty happy with that. Like, that's a subtle zombie, but I like it. Once I do blood on this, I'm going to be happy with it. Remember how that one looked? Now look at how flat this one is in comparison, because I don't have all those little flecks. And this is starting as a lighter base, so this is gonna, those flecks are gonna show up even more.
Kathy Coleman says that looks awesome.
Leave that right there because I want to change. I'm a little warm now. I'm gonna turn off this heater because we're out here for long. Take off this sweatshirt.
Tex says the red in the eye sockets looks creepy. Maybe that shirt.
I was gonna turn the heater off. Is that okay?
That's fine. Just give me a shirt.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I took my shirt off camera because sometimes the other shirt flips up and no one sees this body without paying. You know what I mean? Yes.
Will you be doing the same for the blood as you did with the brush?
The blood I'm going to slop on, but I have to darken the blood because when something is like the level of freshness determines the color of the blood. The older the zombie is, the darker it gets. So if this was ripped off, then it's fresh blood. If this has rotted away, then it's older blood. So I'll probably do one fresher and then one rotted. And you don't have 100% control over this, but that's good. That's going to give you the randomness that people have in their skin tones. They have blotchy areas. They have areas that have more of one pigment than the other, you know?
Ken Zurich says that's going to be amazing.
Doing this with reds and browns and stuff, this isn't a style that I do a lot because you can see it's going to take a little bit longer. And it's real subtle. You got to build it up over time.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And it's just, while this is a little too subtle for me in a haunted house setting. I like more things to be happening in a haunt setting. Paint wise. Go ahead.
Are you doing the wet look to the red areas like you did the other masks?
Yes. And you can really see these because this surface is almost white. And I'm tired of flecking already, so I'm getting bigger flecks. A lot of guys they'll do this and they'll tap the brush this way, but I think there's even less control that way. They'll do tapping, and it does send
Bigger splotches? Bigger
Yeah.
dots?
and sometimes they'll use like a stick and tap their brush, or they'll tap the brush onto the stick. There's a lot of techniques to do this. The airbrush can do this on a real fine setting. Also, just pinch your hose and let your air trickle out, and you can get this to happen also. And I want to see these dots. I want this to be like a patchwork of color, because you're not going to read each individual dot. You're going to read that I have changed the color of this face. I've changed the temperature more than the color. If I do blues and greens, then I've cooled it off. If I do reds and yellows and oranges, I've warmed it up. What?
El Matro says, new Patreon level needed for that shirt to come off. Stripper tier.
That's right. That's the stripper tier.
Scott Pointer, Shannon, I have an easy meal for the crew. Mix grape jelly into salsa. Pour over Gordon's meatballs in a slow cooker for about an hour and a half. Put 6 into a hot dog bun. Meatball sandwiches.
That actually sounds delicious.
Scott, I have done something similar to that. I did red currant jelly with spicy brown mustard and chili sauce onto the meatballs, and I've done that before in a pinch. Or I have taken orange marmalade and Dijon mustard, say, and a lot of times you just have a little bit of jelly in a jar, and it's taking up room. Throw it in there. I had a jar of candied jalapenos. Throw them in there. Give them some spice. So yes, I'm with you on that.
Anything that's too blatant, just tap it with your finger. It'll disappear.
Do you
You
prefer
can-
that brush to do that, or can you use any brush?
You don't want one that's too long or you have no control. See how this is a chip brush that I cut down. You want to be able to control that throw. How much is that brush going to move? And that, like, I don't know where that's going to go. So this has more control. A toothbrush works. A half cut down chip brush works.
Body Geek says that he's not getting that tier.
That's best.
Stripper tier.
Oh no, Body Geek, you get all tiers. Your picks are in the mail. Polaroids, whether you want it or not.
John C says, do you have enough stock to take to Transworld, or do you have a busy few weeks of extra work?
I always have a busy few months of extra work. That's just how it goes.
But Transworld is several months away.
Yeah, it's not until May,
So-
and I hope it's going to happen.
There's not the hustle of thinking that we're going to be leaving in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's not necessarily immediate at this point.
No. Chad Smith says that he's used a toothbrush before.
Yeah, toothbrushes are fine. I mentioned a toothbrush.
Danette, grape jelly and barbecue sauce. Yeah. Lots of times you can kind of clean out the door of your refrigerator of condiments and make a pretty awesome
Door sauce.
door sauce is what we call it. Abadasa said Polaroids, and Mimi said, oh God, no Polaroids. Bloody Effects, y'all get conventions again? Well, we don't know. And now, none of these are conventions we're talking about are in Texas.
Yeah.
You're in this is damn California lagging. I don't know. But these aren't Texas conventions we're talking about. The one we're talking about is in St. Louis.
And and look at your numbers. Look at where your numbers are. What's your infection rate? What is your, all of that tells you stuff. And is what California's doing working? Then I wouldn't, necessarily complain about it. There are times when I wish Texas did more. See, I just use that black wash in there, darken that up a little bit. Not a lot. I don't want black, but I wanted to deepen it. And I need this to dry before I move on, but I think that my other one is dry.
Thank you, Finn Godwolf, for becoming a Patreon.
Whoa! We has a fin.
We has a Finn.
See how different that is now from the other? And it's just that how I did that base.
Well, the effect says, love how this is coming out.
Thanks.
Abadaza also loves the skin.
So I'm about to use the airbrush, but I'm just going to use the airbrush to apply something because it's going to apply it thinner and it'll dry faster. Use the brush to apply it, but it would take longer. Alexa, turn on the air compressor.
I think it's already on. Can you hear it?
Now it is.
Okay, you guys. I think we have sleet again because these dogs are wet.
Well,
Good night, Jennifer Pugh. Thank you so much, Finn. Tank says you got to be smart about opening things up, and Baba Daza said that is grossly realistic.
yeah, this is a much more realistic paint job than I normally do. Yeah, it takes longer, and honestly, I don't think it reads as well in low light. In low light, this would kind of turn into a muddy mess. I assume that my masks are going to be used inside of a haunted house. So I paint them where they pop in low light. Low light, this really wouldn't pop that much.
Chad Smith says, I think the next zombie I sculpt, I'm going to do a hole in the cheek where you can see the back teeth through it. I think it will be tough to get the depth to look right.
You're correct. It will be tough.
Hello, Dan McCorson.
Also, make sure that you get your angle right, because really look at a skull to know where those teeth go. If that makes any sense. You gotta activate old man mode. Or as Stacy and Gray call it, haunt dad mode. That's not funny.
It's funny. It is too. Realm says, at the end of Halloween, I bolt a lot of ping pong ball eyes from Dollar Tree, and I use them all the time. And I just made ripped out eyes with them, and paper towels and latex, and then put on permaglue.
Cool. Using that torch tip cleaner, that cobwebs and candlesticks turned me on to. Very useful little tool for cleaning out these bottles. All right, and this is the
No.
Liquitex Clear
No.
Gloss, well,
Thank you.
high gloss medium. I'm going to stain these teeth, remember? So I want to do this as a resist on the teeth.
Realms wants to know, why did you paint the mask where it won't look good in the haunted?
Because it looks good in regular lights. Well, this is this is how most mask companies paint their masks. They paint their mask so it looks good on the show floor, which is fluorescent lights. And then when it gets to a haunted house, it looks muddy. But this whole 10 nights, I don't know if you've noticed, I've used different painting techniques every night I've done this. So I'm doing things a little differently. Some people want to see other styles.
You should add a transformer sound button when you activate old man mode.
Yeah.
Baba Daza says, I totally get that. It's like stage makeup or anything like that. You want it to be dramatized.
Yeah, it needs to read. It needs to have contrast.
Tank says, to make a job look right, you might have to make the head oversized a bit and make the costume, matches with the proportions. Let's see. Danny Corson says, 20 more intestines done, 4 more milk, the skull is done.
Awesome.
Icy Monster says, so for us in California, what alternative is the best in place of contacts?
What?
For us in California, what alternative would you suggest in place of contacts?
Drive to another state and get something that works. I don't have one. Contact cement is such a important and vital material to my life that I cannot suggest an alternative for you. I did like how the latex carpet adhesive worked, but I don't know if you guys can get that in California either. It's just you guys don't have access to the same stuff.
What airbrush do you use?
What airbrush do I use? I use a Pache H airbrush, and I use a Pache H. I use the Harbor Freight Quick Change airbrush.
Tom Everett says Daddy haunts a lot.
That's creepier than you intended.
Baba Daza says, but Alan is showing us how to paint under a variety of circumstances and in different ways, which will help you as an artist overall.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been doing a lot of options over these past, 10 days or so.
Jeff Bull says when you're using the heat gun, it overpowers Shannon and we can't understand what she's saying.
I know. And you're just going to have to handle that.
It's just for a second, though.
Yeah, it's just while I'm using the heat gun. And honestly, what Shannon is mostly doing is reading what you guys can already read on the screen.
Right.
She's reading it because I can't. So she's telling me your questions. So if you can't hear her,
You can still read what
that's
I'm saying.
right. The wife should be seen and not heard.
Are you done?
I'm done. I
Okay.
didn't.
Chad
That
Smith
came out
says,
wrong.
I built and painted a really nice corpse for my haunt. I put it in the haunt and not a single color made it pop. Picked up a color light and repainted it under that light.
Yes, yeah, you kind of have to do that. And that dry brushing with a dark base, and then normally I will dry brush it white, and then I paint over that if it's going into a darker haunt. Okay, let's go ahead and stain these teeth brown. And I'm going to stain this skull up here brown. This is, I love the smell of this stuff. This is Sculpt Nouveau Metal Wax. You'll like the smell of this. Does that smell good?
Smells mentholy.
It smells like art.
Menthol, kind of. I'm watching you.
I'm just putting this on all over the place here. This is sort of my substitute for my black base coat. See how now I have these nice gnarly teeth?
Ellen, you were doing so well, and then you had to go step over the line. Shannon will get you later.
No doubt that she will, actually.
He was doing well.
And then I'm going to do that up here on the skull. Because there's a seam. I actually sculpted the crack that's in the skull right there. I'm just using this wax to kind of fill it in. But now that reads a lot more like bone than it did before.
You suggest a good natural-looking silicone witch mask. Immortal is a bit too expensive for me.
Yes. Jeremy O'Neill FX. O'Neill FX. Now I'm going to tell you, Immortal is the best. CFX is the second best. And they're about neck and neck on price. Maybe Immortal's a little more pricey. And all the guys who come in under that, I think they line up well according to looks and cost. O'Neill FX is, I feel, on the higher end of skill and on the lower end of price.
But silicone is always going to be higher.
Silicone is always going to be higher.
There's nothing you can really change it.
Not much you can do. And I want a little bit of this inside the nose cavity of him. So I put some wax in there too.
Well, Mimi says gotta run. Might be back later. Masks are looking great.
Thank you.
Dan McCorson says, speaking of lights, need a good quality black light for a good price. I need enough light to do props and masks pop in an 8 by 16 foot room.
Well, boy, good price. Altman, an Altman blacklight is your highest end, nicest. About $2,000. It'll do that whole room brighter than anything, and it'll last for 8 to 10 years. So $2,000 over 10 years, it's $200 a year. That's pricey, but it sure is nice.
Chad Smith says he loves the crack he sculpted on the top of, on the bone on the top of the mask.
Yeah, I didn't want that to go without a feature. So when I was putting that hole in the head, I put it where there was a fissure line. Now, I didn't quite, oh, you know what? I forgot to actually stain, I forgot to resist these teeth. So these are going to pick up more of the wax. So I got to rub them a little bit harder.
Sooner.
Yeah, I don't want it to set. too much. Okay.
Realm says, I've seen a lattice breakaway for the person behind it. You can't see them, and then they pop through it. How do you make that?
It's not lattice, it's elastic. It's underwear elastic. And Jake Farmer, we have that at Dark Hour, and Jake Farmer, that his company makes it, Effects to Go. He has a kit. His kit, I think, is less than $200. So it's well worth it to just buy his kit. Little wetness under the eyes. Now, you shouldn't have that if they're dead, but it's a hard habit for me to break.
Here you go, Realms. I'm sending you the link. Icy Monster says, I like the way those wrinkles really stand out on this one. Tank says, why would that $2,000 black light be better than a Walmart special?
Who asked that?
Tank?
Tank. The quality of light. A Walmart special is going to actually throw out lots of purple light. And the Altman throws out straight UV. So if I have nothing on me, I disappear unless I have UV on me. The difference is amazing. The difference between a regular, what we call black lights, which are really purple lights, and a true UV light.
Babadaza says, okay, so this may be an obvious question, but what makes UV light virus killing versus a normal black light that you use to show glow in the dark paint?
There is UV1, there's UVA, UVB, and UVC. UVC, so all UV light is bad for people. It's bad for your skin. It causes melanoma. I mean, it's all the issues that people have with sunlight. Why do people look old and busted when they go to tanning beds every day? It's because of how bad UV light is for your skin. The strength and severity of the UV, it kind of does the same thing to viruses. Now, UVC doesn't even happen here on Earth unless we make it. It happens out in space. Our atmosphere filters it through. This is probably way much longer of an answer than you need, but UVC, when it hits a virus or us, it actually breaks down our DNA, and it breaks down the virus's DNA, and that's how it kills and destroys. And we can make UVC lights, but UVB lights also have an effect. And the cheaper the UV light is, or black light is, the less UV it's going to have. It's probably going to have UVA, and UVA has very minimal germ killing, whereas UVB has more. It's strength and it's sciencing. Yeah, there you go.
Dan Corson said, is this a mask for a customer order? It's awesome. The wheels are turning in my head again.
No, these two zombies are not sold. I'm grabbing a cup. I'm grabbing
No.
1-inch chip brush. What?
Just looking at the temperature we're going to have on Monday.
Rip City hot sauce.
You're going to keep the heaters going.
I got to keep the heater going in here. Put a little bit of that in here.
John C. says, ozone reflects it, glass filters it. Plastic Ninja. You can get pretty good UVB bulbs for reptiles. A lot of them need UVB.
Yeah, there you go. When I was making my DVD for COVID for haunted houses, I had to do a lot of that kind of study. And it's fascinating. I actually looked into making filters that you could just set up and a fan on each end and full of UV light, and that would just filter the air. But all of the virus study right now is on people and the cure, and there's not enough virus study on killing it in the air, unfortunately. So we don't have hard info right now on how effective UV is. We know it works, we know it does it, but this bulb kills this effective. We don't have that info. We're using info from common cold virus, which is coronavirus. I'm not a scientist. I have the heart of a scientist. I want to learn things, but this isn't my field of study. And please understand, any talking that I do, I am talking out of my butt because I don't have a degree in this.
No, but you've researched it.
I've internet researched it for months. That doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about. So, there. But I also am happy to say I don't know what I'm talking about. This is what I believe based off everything that I've learned so far. And I may learn more information down the road that drastically changes my mind. It's possible. All right. So there is she.
Roller Coley 8 says, I try to avoid LED UV whenever possible, unless it's just for like a cool dance floor effect or something. It's never worth cheaping out on the fixture if it's going to ruin the effect and the light for actors.
Yeah. And you got to be careful with actors in UV too. It's actually really, really bad for your eyes.
Chad Smith says, can you break down the difference between hot sauce and permablood?
The cost is about the same, and they're close. I think permablood's a little more realistic, but it's a little bit harder to get, is all.
Plastic Ninja got his second COVID vaccine today. Good job. Finn Godwolf says, does gamma radiation light turn you green?
No. But it will make you add mass and get bigger.
Jake says, and we don't know how the new viruses will react to any of the treatments we have. Well, the doctor
Yes.
says, I like hearing what you've learned, though.
I have to be very careful because I have conviction when I speak. So people tend to believe what I say, even if it's not true. And what I'm saying is my opinion based off of what I've learned. So I have to make sure that I'm telling you that it's my opinion.
Realms would like to see the other mask.
Well, he can hold his horses.
Hold on.
I gotta do some flecking with the bloods. That side of her face got an artery. And here comes the other mask. Now this one does have a resist.
Chad says, I love the spatter blood. I love the way it ends up looking.
Yeah. The hot sauce is, I like the thickness of it. It's a little bit thicker than permablood, so that's one difference. So it tends to stay where I put it a little more with less drips. Okay.
John C. says, gamma radiation turns into a giant turtle.
So I have an idea. I think I just want to blood the snot out of this. I think I'm ready. I think I'm just going to blood the snot out of this. Who votes? Who thinks that we should use this demure amount of blood? And who thinks that we should really blood this up? Like this zombie has made some poor choices. like this is the lion zombie who had his whole head inside of the zebra person and was eating a meal. Should I blood the snot out of this one?
Mike Chesnowski says, it's nice to eat cookies while I watch you. Chad says, yes, Gore.
One vote for Gore.
Sean Regal says, bloody it up. Gore it up, says Ken Zarish. Dan McCorson says, Alan, you're just like a lot of us. We know a little about a lot, a master of little. With all of our minds combined, we can make or move anything.
I concur.
Ike Camacho says, I want this one.
Do you want it really bloody?
Blood,
I'm
go for it.
I'm about to blood the snot out of
it. Blood it, gore it. Danette says, do it.
No one has purchased this yet.
No, none of these are purchased. South Omaha Horror says, blood the snot out of it. Blood the hell out of it. Poor choices gets my vote, says Pops on the Tube. Dead Alive blood level. How much will be gored up? Asks Rodney Pope.
I think I'm gonna blood him from the eyes down.
Make it bleed. Do
Yeah.
it. Blood. Gore, gore, gore. Yes, yes.
So no one has said this is a reasonable amount of blood. Not a soul.
No.
The internet cannot control itself.
Body says, my hotspot died. Did Realms get sniped? No one's purchased
Yeah,
this
no one has even. Only Ike Camacho has said I want to buy it. So
Paul says, throw a big paint on a can of red on the mask.
nobody has said I would like to buy this right now.
Is this a $75 mask?
Yeah, $75.
It's guys, this is our regular latex half mask, $75.
Both of these are $150 for two.
Are you making a deal?
No, that's two
Oh,
for
no,
$75.
no, I gotcha.
All right.
I love this group. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Here we go.
Tom Everett says, my life is full of poor choices. I say go for it.
Just we're just doing
Oh
it.
my goodness. Oh dear Lord. Okay. Paul Bennett wants 5.
Send an email to the wife, and she'll send you an invoice.
Guys, I tell you, oh Lord, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, look at you. Oh my God.
I want to see what it looks like when I wipe some off. Oh, that's on there. Okay, yeah.
Guys, stop fighting.
Send her an email,
No,
and I can paint more
what?
of these.
No, I'm gonna just put it on the website as soon as we're done, and you guys can order as many as you want. This is a standard zombie mask. This is not impossible to recreate.
Just say 10 nights of color paint. It won't even change the price.
I can just put it on there, and you guys can order as many as you want.
Look at that.
So no sniping.
Oh, goodness. I'm still going to flex some blood on him, too.
Oh my goodness. When he's done, tell me. I'm just going to take a picture of him and get him on there.
You know what? Let's put a little bit of blood up here around this. That's his head wound. If he bleeds, we can kill it. That was a terrible Arnold. I apologize. And now I'm softening that line of where that ended. Yeah, these guys they bit into an arterial spray vein.
Ew.
And always come back and clean off your teeth a little bit, because that makes it scary. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to hit her up with a little bit more of the brown. I think she's too light.
Man, they like this. Okay, let me, yes, Body Geeks, you are what I call an ant pile poker. This is not the kind of pictures I like to do.
You going quick and dirty?
Yes, because I've got people fighting. And Body Geeks is over there stirring the pot. Okay.
I like email because email has a timestamp. But they can also order too. I'll do
Email
them
is
to
more
order.
work.
I'll do them to order. Okay, okay. Just up in here where there isn't blood. I'm not affecting, really, I'm not affecting the blood. I'm not affecting any, I'm just darkening a little bit up here. Very little bit of brown in some water there. I think she was a little too light, and that just fixed it. All right, gang, we painted 2 masks tonight. Won't you take me to Zombie Town? Ding ding. Won't you take me to Zombie Town? Ding ding. That's how it goes. I'm pretty sure. Wife, put it on tripod cam. You want to say goodnight to these fine people?
I'm putting that bloody zombie on the website in just a moment. It is uploading right now. So, and did you say that? Yeah, they're both 75 apiece.
And just add them as a variant, 10 nights of color paint. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have that as an option.
Body Geek says, but it's not even sleepy time.
Well, no, but it's pizza time, my friends. It's pizza time.
Guys, just give me a second. These are going to be on the website. Paul, you can order 5. Realms, you can order 10. You can have as many as you want. This is not a difficult mask to kick out. But it is difficult to keep sending invoices for something I can put on the website really, really fast.
And let me know if you want me to paint them live. I'll be happy to paint them live.
As many as you want.
As you guys can see, these are fairly fast paint jobs. I did both of these in about an hour and 45 minutes. So, no, I started at 6:30.
You started at 6:30. And
so
you know,
2 hours.
And so, guys, just hang tight. Do not let Body Geek stir you into a frenzy.
Yeah.
He's over there poking ant piles.
Unless that frenzy merits me more actual cash. In which case, Body Geeks, poke away.
You're just making things easy for him.
So, wife, say goodnight to these fine people.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
And then, are you ready on the button?
Oh
Don't hit it early. You hit it early last time. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us, for watching us paint these zombies. Thank you guys for all of you who are hanging out for most of the 10 nights of color. We have a few more nights. If I meet my 1,000 subscriber goal by night 10, I'll paint 2 clowns on that last night. I'll paint 2 clowns. So the best way to get that is to share these videos. I'm dead serious.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious. I will paint 2 clowns if I get 1,000 subscribers.
Oh my lord. Okay.
So share this video. Share other videos from the Still Piece Live that you like. Yeah, even if you just want to share, like, because you can share like at a timestamp in a video. Share where I start to blood the snot out of it. People will enjoy that.
Guys, hang tight. Give me 5 minutes. I've already got the template filled.
We'll be off the air by then.
5 minutes, and then check our website, and you'll see these masks, okay?
Yes.
And you better buy them after
and
this.
I say good night, and go make stuff.